Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the BizTech Asian Midday Market Watch. I'm Samantha Voon, and today is the 15th of May, and our guest today is Jeffrey Halley, Independent Market Analyst. Jeffrey, good to have you on the show today.
Thanks for having me, Sam. Always a pleasure.
All right, first, let's have a look at the performance of the Asian stock markets today. All right, we have the Japanese Nikkei 225 up 0.98%, and the Shanghai Composite up 0.48%. In Hong Kong, it's up 1.65%, and in Australia, it's up 1.52%. In South Korea, the Kospi is up 0.84%. In Singapore, the STI is up 0.79%. And back here in KL, the KLCI is up 0.5%. Jeffrey, everything is green. What is up?
Yeah, this all circles back to the US CPI data that came out overnight. It's probably the highlight of the week for financial markets. The data itself actually came in exactly on market expectations, but it was the direction of travel of the CPI data that's got everyone excited. The CPI was lower than last month. And with a softening employment market in the US as well, markets have priced in this as another big green light signal for the Federal Reserve to look to cut interest rates later this year. And that's basically sparked a buy everything rally. And that is continuing through into Asian markets today.
All right. Okay. So let's have a look at the Japan GDP data. It was weaker than expected today, but the USD JPY pair continues to retreat. What's driving the price action, and have we seen the worst of the yen sell-off, Jeff?
We may well have seen the worst of the yen sell-off because the US dollar itself weakened across the board overnight against basically every currency around the globe, and that was the same with the Japanese yen. Clearly the power of the US CPI is having a greater weight on markets than disappointing GDP data from Japan. This will be actually quite a relief, I would say, to those bureaucrats in the Ministry of Finance in Japan. This probably means that we're not going to see any more intervention in the dollar-yen pair going forward, and that around the 160 region probably marks a high water mark for dollar-yen, particularly if US inflation keeps moving lower and the markets race to aggressively price in further rate cuts from the Federal Reserve this year.
Staying on currencies, the Australian and New Zealand dollars also rallied last night. Are these rallies sustainable?
This is all part of this dollar sell-off overnight, but the Kiwi dollar broke through 0.61 overnight and closed above that level, and the Australian dollar broke above 0.6650 and closed above that level. They're both holding above those levels today, and that's quite a strong technical signal that we can see further highs ahead after both currencies have been quite beleaguered of late. So I would be looking for further gains over the next week or so, possibly another 200 or 300 points if this US dollar sell-off continues.
Mm-hmm. Jeff, you touched on the US CPI data earlier. Well, all eyes were on it. Is there any other data we should be watching out for this week?
It's hard to see what is going to change sentiment, to be honest, for the rest of the week. I think the sentiment now will be quite positive for equities in particular, but also cryptos and commodities as well. So the main data points we have left this week will be from China. And tomorrow morning we have, I believe, industrial production, if I just double check my calendar, and retail sales. We're expecting quite healthy numbers for both of those, data points, perhaps slightly weaker than last month. But as long as there's no huge downside surprises, markets will continue pricing in that the worst is over for the Chinese economic slowdown. On Monday, we also have China's 1 and 5 year medium-term lending rate announcements as well. I believe, though, that China will be more likely to cut the RRR rate ratio for banks than they will be to cut these two rates, as fiscal policy, I think, will remain quite constrained. So I'm not expecting any surprises from there either.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for speaking to us today.
Always a pleasure, Samantha.
So we've been speaking to Jeffrey Halley, independent market analyst on the BizTech Asian Midday Market Watch. I am Samantha Voon, and this video and podcast will be on our website, www.biztech.asia, and our social media platforms. It will also be on our syndication partners' TV stations, radio stations, and website. Thanks for tuning in.